Welcome to week 11. One of our focuses for this week is publishing your poetry, getting it out there into the world and getting publications under your belt. There are many joys that can come from this. First is just sharing your work with others and getting to read other people's work, connecting and networking with others, maybe getting invited to do readings or submit to other publications. There's also the fact that you can add publications to your resume or to your applications, which can also be helpful. Warm up for this week is create a When I Was a Blank poem. So we're reading When My Brother Was an Aztec. I want you to create your own When I Was a Blank poem. So you can go ahead and pause it and write your poem and then come back. I'm going to share one that I wrote with you. When I was Maya, I would hook my sins to a string like thorns and yank them through the center of my tongue. Blood-painted paper turned to smoke was language asking my great-grandfather if I was forgiven. All right, let's get into publishing poetry. So there are a few ways to publish your poetry. One is to send individual poems out to journals, e-zines, blogs, contests, etc. The other way is to have a full-length manuscript or a chapbook manuscript, which is a shorter manuscript, which is a collection of poems that fit together. And those you can send out to publishers, to book contests, and you can also self-publish your books. So where should you send your book? You want to, first of all, read journals, blogs, e-zines, books, look at presses. You want to see what's out there and where you think your work would fit. Every journal, every publisher has a different sort of angle they take with the things that they publish. So you don't want to send it somewhere that it wouldn't fit in because it won't get accepted even if it's phenomenal. Publishers and journals and editors are looking for something very specific that fits in with their brand. So you want to figure out where you would fit. You want to find the ones that are similar to your style. And you can also send to content-related editions. So sometimes a journal or an e-zine will put out a call for poetry related to pandemics or poetry related to driving a car. And then you can send your related poetry into those editions or those versions. Rattle, which is a journal, does a current events contest. Ekphrasis is another thing. Sometimes people reach out for those kinds of poems. And you can check some lists posted in Canvas and resources. You can also check the Poets and Writers Guide, which you'll look at this week as well, to find up-to-date places that you can submit. The next thing you want to think about is writing a cover letter. When you submit your work, you don't just submit the poem to the journal, you have to write a cover letter. You don't just submit your manuscript, you have to introduce it. So you want to first read the submission guidelines for the publication and follow those very specifically. If you don't follow their instructions, sometimes people will just disregard your application, your submission. You can check out the template available on Canvas as well, which you can fill in with your information. It basically it's a template for the cover letter and your poems and how to format the pages and everything. That's in this week's module as a document. And then the last thing to do is just press that submit button. I would encourage each of you to try to submit like 1 to 3 poems to a journal or an e-zine and see what happens. Poets, who have been in the game for a while know that it is completely normal to get rejection letters. And there's been a lot of poetry actually written about all the rejection letters. Rejection letters do not mean that your poetry is not good enough and doesn't have a home somewhere in another journal. It just means that that particular editor on that particular day didn't think that your work would fit in the edition that they are creating. So it's very normal to get like 20 rejections for every acceptance that you get. That's why it's also good to, if you want to submit to more than one place. Submit to 5 places and see kind of what happens. The only thing that you want to be aware of is if you send the same poem to multiple places and one of them accepts it, you need to let the other ones know as soon as possible that it's been accepted for publication so that they will not then print it, because there are copyright issues around that as well. Okay, so just to reiterate, the steps are: do your cover letter. You can check out the template for filling that out and how to create your submission document. Find a journal that appeals to you and then press that button. All right, have a wonderful week, everybody, and good luck.